Good morning. I'm not over there, I'm up here today. I have legs. Yeah, they let me out of the cage. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. You can sing if you want. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to hear you. Come on, sing, y'all. Come on, congregation. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Say it again. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you, see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Hallelujah.
Good morning. My name is Rusty Gaillard. I am leading the service today while Reverend John Riley is on his sabbatical. He will be back next week as we enter into the new month of October next week. You're right, it goes by quickly, doesn't it? Just like that. So for those of you who may be new to Unity here in Palo Alto, we are part of a global spiritual community. We welcome people of all walks of life, of all faith backgrounds. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whether you're looking for a deeper experience of spirit, more ready connection with a sense of joy and abundance in your life, or a sense of purpose and deeper spiritual growth. We welcome people from all different places, and we are happy that you're here with us this morning. As a part of our service today, we're very happy to have Joe Angeles as our platform leader. And you already saw our special singer for the day, Ronnie Beck. Ronnie, awesome. And we got Russell Norman on piano and Rob on drums. So we will hand it back over to the musicians now for our opening song. I invite you to stand and join us.
mountains that I face, stronger than the power of the grave, constant in the trial and the change. This one thing remains. One thing remains. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, your love, your love, your love. On and on and on and on it goes. It overwhelms and satisfies my soul. Oh, I wasn't end and ever be afraid, 'cause this one thing remains. One thing remains. Oh, come on, let's sing it out. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, your love, your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, need your love, your love, your love. It never, never, ever runs out on me, no. You lift me up when I'm down and out and hurting. You lift me up when I need a friend. Lord, you lift me up when my frown is showing up. Lord, you lift me up. You never, 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 never run out on me. My heart is calling you. Your love never fades, never gives up, never runs out on you and me.
Good morning. Oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? Just the music we have this morning. Isn't it amazing? And it's funny, all of our musicians begin with the letter R. I call them the 3 R's, the 3 radical musicians that we have today, because they're doing rad music today, yes? And I'm so grateful. So good morning, I am Jo Angeles. It's just so awesome to be with all of you this morning, both in person and of course online. Welcome to Unity Palo Alto Sunday service. What a service we've started so far, yes? And what's so cool is that we are indeed part of a worldwide movement of prayer, publishing, and education. And it teaches us to sorry guys, teaching positive, practical, spiritual principles that help us live a more joyful and abundant life. Indeed, based on our music this morning, we are a spiritual movement. And we are welcoming and indeed inclusive, and wherever we are, and that's the beautiful thing, wherever we are on our spiritual path, we are all welcome here. And I thank the Fillmores. They made it Simple 5. I call them the Simple 5 principles. And the first one is actually one of my favorite. God is. Because there's only indeed one power and presence active in the universe and in our lives, God the good, the omnipotent. And to make the first principle simple for me, I just say one, or oneness. And then the second principle, this oneness, this God, or whatever name you may call it, this source, is the substance and intelligence innate in every person in our creation. And my word for that is allness, or wholeness if you want. And I know the only way for me to start bringing 1 and 2 to my life is through principle number 3, which is the law of mind action, because thoughts in mind produce after their kind, which means we have the ability to affect our world. I know for me, when I start thinking of oneness, allness, and wholeness, number 3 becomes, I learned it from Frank this morning, adequate. Enoughness comes in. Adequacy comes in. And yeah, I know he's chuckling there. I'm going to find out what that adequate means. So I think maybe I'll just do number 4, Frank. Principle number 4 is our practice of meditation and prayer, because it is meditation and prayer that connects us to that creative, constructive power of God to work in us, through us, and us. And to me, when I think of prayer, the simplest word is alignment. And when I thought of allness, wholeness, oneness, enoughness, aligned, number 5 becomes easy. And to me, number 5 could be anything, which is the practical application. It could be abundance. It could be prosperity. Because as we live according to these truths daily, whatever that may be, meaning, abundance, prosperity, and all of that, we become what we're created to be, the living expressions of the image of God, which in unity we call the Christ. And the cool thing is, these 5 core principles doesn't just guide our lives. It also helps us in living our vision statement. And I invite you to affirm that vision statement with me together. Centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. And now we continue with our call to worship.
But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow, like a rainbow. Show me a smile, don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy, you've taken all you can bear. Call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. True colors. That's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. Like a what? Come on, sing it with me. See the rainbow. I see the rainbow. Red, yellow, purple, blue, green, orange, violet. We are a rainbow. We make up a rainbow. Oh, we are a rainbow. Let your true colors shine through. Let your true colors shine through. So I can see you. You can see me. I can touch you. You can love me. Oh, oh. Your true colors. True colors are beautiful. Like a rainbow. Like a rainbow. Like a rainbow. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. And now for our reading from the Daily Word. Today's Daily Word is harmony. I will read the affirmation, then I will invite you to affirm it with me. Harmony is the song of my life. Would you affirm that with me? Harmony is the song of my life. Harmony is an integral part of music, adding layers of intricacy and depth. Without harmony and rhythm, a musical composition would be little more than a dissonant cacophony. With the resolution of each chord and the synchronization of every note, a symphony can touch my soul with peace. Similarly, my soul finds peace as I seek accord in my relationships and every interaction I have. From a place of love and tranquility, I bring compassion to every situation. With a give and take compromise, I build understanding and trust. I approach every interaction with faith and the expectation of harmonious results. Harmonizing my mind and my heart with the world around me, I welcome and do my part to create goodwill, meaning, and beauty. And from Romans chapter 12, verse 16, live in harmony with one another. And now a solo from Ronnie.
Something's on my heart right now. I'm a very spontaneous kind of guy. You might even say I'm serendipitous sometimes. I want to give a shout out to my good friend on the piano, Russell Norman. I love you, Russell. You're a special human being because he cares. He cares about me. He's been caring about me for about 8 years now. And I didn't know it. I know it now. And thank you, Russell. It means a lot. This song is very special to my heart, and I'm going to try not to emote. This is my season for grace for favor. This is my season to reap what I have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor, yeah. This is my season to reap what I have sown. See, I haven't been perfect, but I've sure been faithful. See, God's got a purpose, yes, and I know He's able. I've got a seed in the ground that is growing. I've got a seed in the ground. Now I will show him, oh, this is my season for grace, for favor. This is my season to reap what we have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor. This is our season to reap what we have sown. Oh yeah. It's good, it's good, it's good. It's good, it's good. It's working for your good. It's good, oh it's good. It's working for your good. This is a season to reap what we have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor. Oh, this is my season to reap all that we have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor. Oh, this is your season to reap, to water, to nurture, to love, to cherish what you have sown, and it's good. Oh, it's good. It's working for your good. You know it's good. From here it's good. It's working for your good. It's good. Oh, it's good. It's working for your good. Can you feel it? Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's all working for your good, yeah. This is my season for grace, for favor. This is our season to reap what we have sown. And it's oh so good. God told me that it's good. Rusty told me it was good. Y'all can tell me it's good. Plant that seed, water that seed, till the ground, pull the weeds, do the work. Oh, do the work and God will repay you. You don't have to believe me. You can find out for yourself sometime. It's good. It's working for your good. It's good. Oh, it's good. It's working for your good. This is your season. Hallelujah.
Wow, thank you, Ronnie. This is your season. Yeah, just take a moment and soak that in. This is the third week that I have the privilege of being here with you. And we've been talking about, thank you, during this time, been talking about the idea of spiritual growth from the outside in. A lot of us come here on Sunday, and it's great because we're fed internally, and that's great, but we go out into the world, and we live in this world. And how do we also complement that internal spiritual growth with what we experience in the world? The first week, 2 weeks ago, I talked about the power of vision and why having a vision is important. And the reality is we all have a vision. Some of us deliberately come up with a vision, and some of us just kind of have this subconscious vision that guides us as we navigate life. Because it's our expectation of life that determines what we get from it. That's, relates to your health, relates to your income, the kind of job you have, how happy you are with your job, your relationships. What we expect in life really drives what we get from it. So when I talk about a vision, that's what I mean. We all have one to some extent. The question is, have you thought consciously about what that vision is and decided deliberately what it looks like? What success and happiness and fulfillment and abundance looks like for you? So we talked the first week about crafting a vision, being deliberate about deciding what that is. And then the question is, how do you get it from something you've thought about to something you believe? And that's one of the reasons we're here, the law of mind action. It's practice, it's repetition. The more you think about something, the more you reinforce it, the more it becomes a belief. And that's how you move something from a conscious thought into a subconscious belief, which is really what your vision is about. So that's what the vision is for. It's to help you make that transition from something you've thought about to something you believe in. But it also can be a key to connect with this sense of something greater than you. Because most of us, if you're thinking about a vision, it's not just a little tweak in your life, but it's something that's another level of satisfaction, another level of abundance and fulfillment in life. And to imagine yourself at that other level is energizing. It's exciting. It's something that feels fulfilling and rewarding. And so in that way, your vision becomes a key to connect with that feeling of abundance, that feeling of creativity, that feeling of possibility. And that is what it feels like to be connected with spirit or universal intelligence or source. And the truth is that connection is there all the time for us, but we don't always remember that. Because we leave here and we go back out into the facts of our life and we're busy and there's traffic jams and we go to the grocery store and they're stocked out of the key item that you need to make that recipe you've really been wanting to make. These things just happen. It's the facts of life. And what happens? Do we let those facts take over our consciousness, take over the way we're thinking and feeling and showing up in the world? Or do we continue to stay grounded in that sense of truth, that sense of possibility and freedom and creativity and abundance that is ours to live by? That was the first week that we talked about vision, and that's how vision helps you to stay grounded in that truth. The second week, we talked about what many of us believe is the dominant factor in our lives. Many of us put so much emphasis on this thing as if it has control over what we do, who we are, what kind of possibilities we have. Of course, I'm talking about money. So many of us think about money as the determining factor. And so we examined last week, what is money? What really is it? And how do you relate to money? This idea that money is not just, the little green pieces of paper we have, but it's a currency. It's what we get in exchange for our creative contribution to the world. So when you create something, when you go to your place of work, or when you contribute in some way to the world, oftentimes you get money in response to that. And then you can use that money in exchange for someone else's creative energy. And in that way, money is really a reflection of your abundance, your creativity, and it becomes this currency that we use in exchange to trade for other people's creativity and abundance. So it's a means of exchanging our creative energy, and our creative energy is simply that divine nature inside of us. So David Owen Ritz calls it God in action. Money is really God in action because it's how we exchange our creative energy with each other. That's a different way of thinking about money. At least it is for me. And then you question, how do you relate to money? Many of us think about money and we think about, well, our first thought is often, I don't have enough or I can't afford this thing. Right? So money all of a sudden in our mind becomes associated with scarcity or not enough. Does anybody have that? I've got some of that going on. It's worth noticing that. How can I change that thinking? How can I be deliberate about remembering what money is? There's enough. And then, is money a good thing or not a good thing? Right? Many of us think that money is you've ever heard the phrase, the money is the source of evil? I've heard that before. Is that true? Is that what you believe about money? How will you ever have more money if that's what you believe about it? Do you ever attract something that you don't like? Well, so can we change the way we're thinking about money? Can it become a friend? Can you enjoy money? Can you be grateful when you have it? Can you be comfortable with your relationship with money? And then finally, how do you spend money in the world? Many of us, whether it's paying your home insurance bill or paying for your groceries or whatever it is, we all have expenses that we're like, oh, I really don't want to spend that money. But can we instead give money with joy and gratitude and faith and trust that we're putting positive energy out into the world? This is an exchange. This is God in action. This is exchange of our creative energy. Can we relate to spending money in that way? So different ways of thinking about money. And that brings us then to today. And the final series in this 3-series talk is about making a quantum leap, which is a giant step. Can you make a giant step forward? So I want to share with you a little bit from this book. It's called U Squared, written by a guy named Price Pritchett. And he talks about the idea of a quantum leap. And this is what he says about it. Most people operate with a mindset that assumes success comes one step at a time. The unspoken but popular notion is that we must move systematically from our present level of achievement to the next. Then, the thinking goes, from that stage we can begin working towards graduating to still next higher level in the sequence, gradual progress. This is an unfortunate misconception, and it's clearly reflected in the way people function. They go about day to day striving to make incremental gains in their performance. That's pretty routine. That's the pathway of conventional growth. But your life simply does not always have to operate that way. Advancing in a measured pace, step by step, from where you are to a little bit better, ordinarily feels easier, more natural, and even safer. But in certain areas of your life, you can just as easily think in terms of skipping levels. You can move from your present level of achievement to one that is several stages higher directly. You make a quantum leap. Instead of accepting present circumstances or being content with gradual improvement, you go for a breakthrough. That's a pretty cool idea, isn't it? Well, over the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing a little bit of this TV show that I watched last year during the pandemic called Undercover Billionaire. Very simple premise. They take 3 very successful people in the real world, and they put them in a city they've never been to with $100, a car, and a cell phone with no contacts. They can't use their money, their resources, their connections, and they have to build $1 million business in 90 days. That's their challenge. That, to me, sounds like a quantum leap. I don't know about the rest of you, but if I dropped into a city with $100, I would be focused on survival. Right? Where am I going to stay? What am I going to eat? And sure, these people thought about that. They had to. But at the same time, they weren't looking at incremental progress. They were saying, how do I make a quantum leap from this place where I'm struggling to survive to a place where I can build $1 million business within 90 days? It takes a few ingredients to be able to do that, to be able to make that quantum leap. The first thing that is required is what Napoleon Hill says the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill is one of the best-selling authors of all times. He wrote the book Think and Grow Rich after studying thousands of millionaires in the early 1900s and figuring out what is it that makes them successful. He says the starting point of all achievement in life is desire. Starts with desire. Now, these three people in the show I watched, Undercover Billionaire, clearly they had desire because they had their reputations at stake. They volunteered to go do this. They said, yeah, I'm committed. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to figure out how to build $1 million business in 90 days. So they had the desire. But for many of us, we have desire, but it's easy for that desire to kind of slip over here and start to feel like hoping or wishing. Right? Oh, I've got this desire. I'd love to build $1 million business. Oh, maybe someday I'll get there. Wouldn't it be nice? I hope I could do it, or I wish I could. Which brings us to a second important ingredient. It's not just the desire by itself. That's not enough. With the desire has to come a sense of belief. A sense of belief that you can do it. And when you have the desire and the belief, those two things come together. And instead of wishing or hoping, now you become ready to receive this thing. Ready to receive what it is that's in your vision, what's important to you, and what represents abundance and success to you. One of the three people in the show, Undercover Billionaire, her name was Elaine. She was working on starting a retail establishment where they would be selling sandwiches and groceries and that kind of thing. And that's a big undertaking to get through in 90 days. And so she was enlisting help. And so she found this person, actually a few people, who volunteered to help her in this business. And volunteered. So keep this in mind. These people had some free time, but they were not being paid for their time. They were working more than 40 hours a week, following directions from this woman, Elaine, who was telling them what to do. And there was a moment in the show where they stopped and they interviewed this young woman, and they said, "Why are you doing this? You're not getting paid to do this. You don't really know what's going to come of it. You're just volunteering your time, helping this woman to achieve her goal, but why?" And this young woman said, "I can't tell you what it is, but that woman, Elaine, she's a boss lady." And I love that phrase. She's a boss. She knows what she's doing. What did she have? She had desire and she had belief. And that energy came through. That energy came through enough that the people around her noticed it. They said, "This is not a person I run into every day." And this young woman said, "I want to hitch my wagon to that train because it's going somewhere. I can tell it's going somewhere." So it's that question of for all of us, for each one of us. We may have a vision. Do we have the real desire? Do we have that burning desire? And do we have the belief that we can do it? Do we have the belief that we're resourced, that we are abundant, that we are creative, that we are, in fact, divine? Do we believe that more and more regularly, more and more deeply and consistently, so that we put that energy out around us into the world? Now, just because you're putting that energy out doesn't mean that everything goes easily for you. In fact, this woman, Elaine, goes to they're going to do a little soft opening, like a friends and family launch event for this retail establishment that they've set up. And they open up the doors that morning, and there's been a sewer backup in their place. Can you imagine that? Like, what bad timing. What a disappointment. So they had to cancel it. They couldn't do it, of course. And it wasn't just her. The other contestants had their own share of issues. Another one was starting a business where she was selling fresh squeezed juices. And, anywhere from the juicer breaking down to, this big event that she had planned with a truck showing up, and the truck got a flat tire and couldn't show up, and like 80% of what she had planned fell through. I mean, there was challenge after challenge after challenge for these people. And the question is, what do you do when that happens? It's so easy to go focus on the challenges and say, oh man, I can't believe this happened. What bad luck that the sewer backs up on the day that we're scheduled to open. If it had happened a day earlier, they could have dealt with it. What bad luck, what do we do? Poor us, it's not going to happen. It's so easy to get focused on the problems that show up in life. Does anyone have any problems in their life? Anyone? Yeah. A few hands, only 20% of you. That's pretty good. I like that. We all have problems that show up. But the question is, what do we do when they show up? Do we focus on them? Do we put all of our time and energy? Do we stop what we're doing to go solve that problem? What these people did in this show is they embraced this idea of non-resistance. Things are going to happen in life. We all know that. It's all happened to you. It's happened to me. It's happened to all of us. But what do you do when things happen? If you resist it, if you focus on it, if you put all of your energy and you stop everything else you're doing and saying, I got to fix this problem, where are you putting all of your energy? Into the problem. Exactly. And when you put energy into something, what happens to it? It grows. So the idea of non-resistance is don't resist the problem. Problems happen. That's not something we can control. That's going to happen. Challenges, obstacles, these things will happen. Think of it like water rolling down a hill. When water is rolling down a hill and it encounters a little rock, the water doesn't just stop behind the rock. It finds its way around and keeps going down the hill. How can we embrace that same idea of non-resistance? There was a scene in which this woman who was starting the juicing business was very early in the show, and she was looking to raise money to start her business. Keep in mind, she didn't know many people in this town. She'd only been there for a week or 10 days or so, but she had made some good connections. And she was able to, through those connections, invite a group of women together who were resourced enough to support a business and who believed in supporting women entrepreneurs. It was the perfect setup for her. She wanted to raise $10,000 for her business so she could get equipment, do some advertising, hire people, all of that kind of things you need to start your business. $10,000 is a lot of money, but to start a business, it's a pretty reasonable investment. So she did her presentation. She gave them each a little sample of the juice so they could taste it. She gave the whole business model, the plan, how she was going to do it, and then came the moment of truth. She made her ask, I'm looking for $10,000 to get this business off the ground. One person responded, and that one person contributed $1,500. I watched this happen, and my heart sank. I said, $10,000, like this was the prime time for her to get this money. She had all the right people in the community present. She had a great story. She gave them a sample. It's a reasonable amount of money. And she only got one investor for $1,500. It felt like a heavy moment to me. All of this happened in a flash inside of me. And in the next scene, what does this woman do? She says, yes, I got my first investor. I had to push pause on the video at that moment because there was such a dramatic difference between me sitting over here saying, oh my goodness, a failure, and her standing over here going, yes, I got my first investor. What do you do when you encounter obstacles in your life? What a reflection that was for me. How do I encounter difficulties and challenges? How do I think about them? What do I do as a result? There was clearly a little resistance going on over here, and there was clearly more flow going on over here. I just think that was a great lesson. Now, making a quantum leap, going for something bold, can feel kind of risky. And I want to read you another little section from this book, U Squared, again, by Price Pritchett, who talks specifically about that. And the idea is to choose a different set of risks. Here's what he says about it. Going for the quantum leap feels chancy. The risks hit you as rather apparent and maybe quite threatening. but you must stack them up against the hidden risks you accept when you decide to live with the status quo. Ask yourself what you're risking if you do not go for the quantum leap. The risk is that you won't get what you really want out of life. You've got to understand that you can never escape risk. It's not something you could decide to live with or without. Something is always at stake. You can only decide which risk to take. Risk believing in yourself. Risk acting on the assumption that you can succeed in making a quantum leap. Otherwise, the risk is that you will settle for only a fraction of what life has to give you. This idea of spiritual growth from the outside in is about looking at those risks, looking at what it is that you want in your life. To come on a Sunday and feel a sense of spiritual connection and expansiveness and abundance is wonderful. And the question is always, how do we carry that with us out into the world? How does our life reflect that sense of abundance and possibility? Is it reflected in the actions that we're taking? And that's why it's this idea of outside-in spiritual growth. Of course, there is some inside spiritual growth. And that's what we talk about, prayer and meditation, remembering the principles that Joe walked us through today. There is one power and one presence active in the universe. I am a part of that. I can affect the world through the way I think about it, resistance, non-resistance, having a sense of desire and belief. I reconnect with those things through prayer and meditation, but then it's the practical application, that fifth principle. How do you carry this with you out into the world and apply it? How do you take the actions that move you a step forward towards what it is that you want in your life? And that is the idea of outside-in spiritual growth, because it's not just sitting quietly in your room. It requires little action. Like these people on the Undercover Billionaire, they were in action. They were moving forward. I've got one other little excerpt I want to share with you. This is from a different book. This one is from Wallace Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich. And it's written kind of with the orientation towards money, but I really think about richness as abundance in this broadest sense of the word. So it's the science of getting what it is that you want out of life. And this is what he has to say about it. This is the crucial point in the science of getting rich, where thought and personal action must be combined. Thought, again, the belief and the internal work of spiritual growth. There are many people who consciously or unconsciously set creative force in action by the strength and persistence of their desires, but who remain poor because they do not provide for the reception of the thing they want when it comes. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. Thought is the internal part. Thought is the internal spiritual growth, connection with abundance. Personal action is the external part. That's what you're doing out in the world. It's the combination of the two. He goes on to say, whatever your action is to be, it is evident that you must act now. Because you are not in the right business or the right environment now, do not think that you must postpone action until you get into the right business or right environment. And do not spend time in the present taking thought as to the best course of action in possible future emergencies. Have faith in your ability to meet any emergency when it arrives. If you act in the present with your mind on the future, your present action will be with a divided mind and will not be effective. Put your whole mind into present action. Do not give your creative impulse to original substance or universal intelligence, and then sit down and wait for results. If you do, you will never get them. Act now. There is never any time but now, and there never will be any time but now. If you are ever to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now. I so enjoyed this show, Undercover Billionaire, because although there was no explicit spiritual reference in it, it was a very spiritual show. It was about people encountering difficult facts of life, difficult circumstances, and living from a place of truth. People who were willing and to do the work to talk themselves back into that place of possibility and abundance when they face disappointment, setbacks, challenges, rejection. Many of us face those things, and our question is, what do we do? Can you come back to that place of truth? And that's what I so appreciated, is to watch them come back to this place of truth time and again and act from that place of truth. Not just to sit in their room and believe it, but to go out in the world and act in that way. And so it's an iterative process. We do inside work so that we can show up in the world in an external way, and we do that work out in the world so that we believe that it's possible. It goes both ways. And so I hope that you leave today and you leave these sessions that we've had over the last couple of weeks with a vision and with a sense of desire, but more than that, a belief that it is possible for you. Not to get hung up on the obstacles, but to allow the flow to happen, not to resist them, to move forward. And remember which set of risks you are choosing. We can't escape risk, we always get a choice, and to take the action. And by doing so, that you may step into the flow of life. To be one with your sense of abundance, with one with the sense of abundance that is all around you, that is life, that is the creation in which we live. To stand in that place and to walk in that place and to live your life from that place of abundance. Let's move now to our affirmation, which I will read and then have you say together with me. I am ready to open my life even wider to accept more of the good things in life. Will you say that with me? I am ready to open my life even wider to accept more of the good things in life. Indeed. Let's take that affirmation and take that sense of wide, open embracing of life into our time of meditation and prayer. I invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or soften your gaze. And let your attention drift inward to that place inside of you that is the light of abundance and creativity, harmony, joy, belief. Notice that light and allow yourself, give yourself permission to let that light shine a little bit brighter. That light is in each one of you. It's a natural result of who you are. And you can let your light shine in all of its magnificent colors out into the world. For it starts inside, but it illuminates the world. So allow that light to illuminate you. Bask in those colors, bask in the warmth, the abundance, the freedom, the stillness, and the silence. Now, as you take a deep breath, I invite you to let that light shine even brighter and to expand, to enfold anyone that you hold in prayer. For all the people whose names are in our prayer box, for all the people in your community and in your heart. See that light in them. Share your light with them. See them surrounded by this energy of love, abundance, freedom, wholeness, allness, oneness. Feel that connection with them and feel the exchange of energy between you as they are guided by divine love to live more and more from their place of wholeness and wellness and abundance, living their magnificence in the world. We expand that circle of love and light to include our world, national, state, and local leaders, seeing them making wise and loving decisions for peace, goodwill, equality, equity, wholeness in the world. And as we breathe into that place of light and wholeness and completeness, we give thanks. We give thanks for this place, for this community, for this sense of wholeness. And with a sense of gratitude, we sing the Alleluia. With a nice, deep cleansing breath, I invite you to return to this space and open your eyes if you have not already done so. Bring that light with you and let it shine out into the world. Unity Palo Alto is here to help you shine your light in the world. So if you are inspired by what we had to say today and every day that you're here, we invite you to consider making a financial contribution. Unity is a self-supporting organization. There are many ways to give. And as we've talked about, it is not just what you give, but it is how you give it. It's how you show up. And so it's this idea of giving with joy and faith and trust, that everything that you give out into the world will come back to you multiplied. There are many ways to give listed on the screen here. If you are in the sanctuary here, there's a silver box at the back that you can place your donation in if you would like to do so. And we have a blessing to affirm the sense of give and exchange of spiritual energy. So the blessing is on the screen, and I invite you to say it all together with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
Yeah, you know what? We do need it. Come on. Show the love. Share the love. Because Rusty was last 3 weeks, bro, you've been knocking it out the park, baby. The Giants need you right now. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. When the solid ground is falling down from underneath my feet, between the black skies and my red eyes, I can barely see. You will lift them down, I misread. When it's had a leaf, I can feel the rain reminding me. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when the skies are gone. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the answer when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. Your love surrounds me in the eye, in the eye. Dark clouds, it's raining, snowing, car slipping and sliding down the road. Your girlfriend, your wife made you mad. Kids are being bad. That's a kind of a storm. You guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. You gonna take it up, Russell? In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. Your love surrounds me. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. Yeah.
Woo! Goodness. That's all I could say. I mean, how awesome you guys are. Ronnie, Russell, Rob. Whew. And now I have a fourth R, Rusty. It's a 4R Sunday today. Isn't it awesome? I was right. It's a rad Sunday today. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for that experience. Because, and I do have my script. Hold on one sec. And it's just amazing, isn't it, that we get to experience that every Sunday. I mean, here in the sanctuary, and also for some of you who is joining us online, whether today or during the week. It's just awesome to connect like this every Sunday, isn't it? And I agree with you on that one. And I think now it's a great moment for each of us to take a moment to just express our gratitude for this connection and community that we have here at Unity Palo Alto. So I invite you to take your hand, put it in your heart, close your eyes. Just close your eyes and just breathe in this connection, this love. And whatever word that comes to you about this community and this connection. And breathe that in. And bring it and breathe it out to each one here. To each one online. To our community. And to our world. And we say thank you to Source for our oneness and our allness, and to each other. So it is. Amen. And the cool thing is we continue this connection, not just here at our Sunday service, because we have other things going on outside of service. Actually, today, speaking of that, we get to enjoy that sunshine that you see out there, because today is your bring your own lunch brunch today after service. Actually, my hubby was kind enough to prepare me one. So I get to join that today after service, because I know about me. The best way for me to connect with people and meet people and get to know them is through food. Yes? Yes. And the cool thing about this, I was looking at it in our program, it has an icebreaker and a topic du jour. So I'm curious, what will those be? So I get to eat and I get to know you. Cool thing. Then, this is an exciting thing for me, because part of my LUT, I'm an LUT candidate. Yay, officially. I get to facilitate, actually, starting October 20th, sorry. It's called the book, The Gathering. I know we have the affirmative prayer process, and I think what I love about The Gathering, Reverend Jim Rosemergy presented like a 9-step prayer process that makes affirmative prayer a little bit easier. And one thing he says in the book is prayer is not something we do. It's actually something we experience in that oneness that we have with Source and as Source. And the cool thing is we get to share that with people. So that's why I was so, when I discovered this book, I got so excited to actually, this will be my first one to teach here or facilitate here at Unity Palo Alto. So come and join us on that one. It will be both in person and online, and it will be through a love offering. So, yay, the book is even at the bookstore now. 10 copies. So get one of those 10 copies and see you on October 20th, either here or online. So that'll be so cool. And if you want more information about all these things that I just talked about, you can go to our website at unitypaloalto.org, or you can check out, of course, our social media channels. Oh, and this one, they do not have this meeting. They don't have a Board of Trustees monthly meeting this month. It's going to be in October, I think the 17th. The 17th, yes? Wow, I remembered it from there. So, and I know we have, how many Board of Trustees we have here today? Pamela in the back, we have 4 of them, right there in every corner. Thank you, Board of Trustees, for the work that you do with us and for us. Thank you so much. And now, since it is the 4th Sunday of each month, we bless each other. So I invite you to stand up, face the center aisle, reach out your hand to each other, and we say our blessings. I think there you go. So we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you. We behold the light in you. And now for our song of peace.
be peace on earth.
And now for our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a happy Sunday. Let your light shine.